Heyo, I am Crystal Rosas inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge, presented by Celsius. She took a leap of faith with just a few $1,000s and a vision to create something special in Williamsburg. What started as a simple coffee shop has grown into a beloved community hub. As the neighborhood changes and challenges arise, Rachel has worked hard to keep the heart of her business strong, with a focus on supporting women and fostering connections. Today, we chat about the early days of Buddy's, her coffee shop, the evolving landscape of Williamsburg, and what it means to run a small business in a changing world. Rachel Nieves.
Hi.
Hi.
That was such a nice intro.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm rested today, so I feel energized and good.
Yeah, we all saw you when you were sharing your vulnerable story of what was going on. And
Yeah.
it's funny because when we were all watching together, it's true. Like sometimes we see people crying on the internet and we, even ourselves, we're like, I don't know about this. And you said it yourself. You're like, I don't know how this is going to be. I'm not going to cut this up. But that video, how many views does it have? I mean,
I haven't checked again.
yeah.
And like the only time I've rewatched it is when it's played back to me,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
The last time, like yesterday or the day before, I think it was like 7.5 million people, but that's just on TikTok. Like that's not including the other platforms that it's reached and like been reposted on. So I think it's kind of like worldwide. Like the world has seen me cry now.
Oh, how does that feel?
Liberating actually, because it's like what can you do to me now? Like literally the world has seen me in such a moment where I felt so, I was insecure, I was lost, I was hurt, I was angry, I was like all the things. And I didn't just cry in my bathroom, like on the floor. Like I literally it's broadcasted to the world. So now it feels like extremely empowering, and I'm okay because like what else can you throw at me, world? It's okay. Like I've already put it all out there. So that's how I feel now.
How quick did the virality catch on?
So I woke up at 2 a.m. after I had posted it. And
What time did you post that?
it finally posted at like 6 p.m., 6:30 or something. And I just shut my phone. Like I didn't like open it back up. I was like, oh wow, I hope my friends don't see me like this and like call me and worry, like wonder if I'm okay. And I woke up and I saw it was like reaching like 50,000 or 60,000 views in 2 a.m. And I wanted to wake up Taylor and I was like, oh my gosh, should I delete it? But then I was like obviously overthinking, and I was like, well, what if someone's already screen recorded it? What if someone's already downloaded and saved it? And if I delete it, they want to upload it and embarrass me. So I was like, I'm just going to let it rock.
Okay.
And I woke up the next day because I had to roast. Like I roast coffee every Wednesday. And I made a reaction video to 130,000 people having viewed it. And I thought that was it, because no video of mine has ever surpassed, I would say like 300,000, I believe. Like I had one video go and I was like, whoa, what's this? But the 130,000 mark, I was freaking out. I had like a knot in my stomach. I was like trying to call everyone. No one was answering. Like, guys, I think I made a mistake. Like I really posted something. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that's it. It happened almost immediately after posting it, that it just like the views just skyrocketed.
And then the comments were supportive, so which
For the most part.
okay, yeah. So
The reality is like it's gonna have both, but a lot of people were thanking me for being like super vulnerable or having expressed that they themselves had felt that or experienced that, and not even in New York, just all around the country of, oh, I also had to close my cafe because of rent increases, or you're so strong, it's okay, you'll overcome this. That was most of the comments. There was a lot of, it's the internet. So there was a lot of comments that were not saying that. And those are the ones you can have 10,000 wonderful comments, and then there's that one that really stings, and you're like, you didn't watch it, or you didn't really understand my message, and that hurt. And I would say the first day or two, the mean comments truly hurt me. And then when all the people started coming in person to the shop and just being so supportive, I was like, oh, I'm putting my phone down. I just want to be present with all these people that are truly excited and happy to help me take my business to another level, that it was nothing more than them just wanting to see someone succeed, that it had nothing to do, like they were like, oh, I like this girl, whatever she wants to do with her business, I want to help her, like especially after her having expressed something that I myself have done in private. So it's been like this roller coaster of emotions, and all mostly amazing. Like, I feel amazing.
Wow. That is so true though, because even me, I be reading comments and I'm like, dang, you're so hurt. You say to yourself, like, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. But it still hurts to get that hurt from someone. You're just like, why do you not even like type that?
Yeah, naturally I want to go and like express myself to someone, like, okay, well, that's not really it, but
Explain. Uh-huh.
explain. And I was like, well, I can't really spend my energy doing that because I have so many wonderful people that are literally traveling states and like country to meet me and to speak with
What?
me.
That is
Yeah, that was
wild.
it's
When did
been
that start happening?
that first week. So the first person I had met that had traveled said they came on a bus from Philly. And then later that week,
That's a struggle.
I
That's a
met
struggle bus from
I
Philly
know,
over here, yes.
and I was like, wow, you guys, why are you traveling so far? And then I met someone who flew in from Florida. And then I met a family of 6 that had flown in from Texas. That one really, that was the first day when I was like, oh my gosh, this is reaching people on a level that I don't even know how to like comprehend right now or like digest fully, that they just put their whole family, got on a plane, landed in Jersey, they shared with me, and came to Brooklyn in hopes of just meeting me because they also had dreams of opening a coffee shop and a coffee cart. I think it was like out of a horse, like a trailer. And they're like, well, we're just so inspired by you, by keeping like how you started and putting yourself out there and growing your business, and you look so successful, and we just wanted to meet you. And I just so happened to be at the shop that day because it was a Monday and we're always closed. And I just so happened to be there, and they knocked on my window and I met them. And that I was like, my shop is not open, but here is everything I have. And I just gifted them like bags of coffee. And I was just like, can I do anything else for you? And they were just like, no, we just wanted to like take a photo with you. We wanted to hear like how you started the shop. And like I sat with them and I spoke with them. And then someone came from Colombia. Like, he's like, I saw your video in the news in Colombia, and I just had to come and meet you, and I wanted to just let you know we're all supporting you, and like whatever it is that you want to do, like we're gonna help you. Yeah.
You're famous.
No.
No, but I mean, people are traveling from around the world. That's such a crazy feeling, no?
It is really crazy because I'm like, if I had not shared that moment, it literally would have just been another Tuesday. Like, as a small business owner, I think a lot of people can relate if you've ever owned a small business, worked like wanting to create one. It's a lot of pain, a lot of work. There are really beautiful moments where, those are the ones you share with everyone, but it's a lot of figuring out like, how the heck am I going to get this done? What did I do? Did I just really walk away from everything else just to pursue this dream of mine? And if I had not shared that moment, it would have just been a regular struggle day. That would have just wiped my tears and go and make my content and make my little matcha or my little coffee drink and do a little voiceover. Like, would have just been a regular day. And I just wanted to share that moment.
Wow. And we do want to hear that. I mean, can you take us back to the beginning when you and your boyfriend Taylor decided to open Buddy's Cafe with just what you guys had?
Yeah. So I think it's the first, not I think, I've shared in another video that Buddy's was the first thing in my life that I didn't fully plan on, and I think that's why it's worked out so well. I pretty much am very calculated, or I don't make any moves that I don't plan on doing. Like, oh, well, I'll quit my job or I'll do this once I save up a certain amount of money, or I'll move or I'll purchase this thing once I've already accomplished this. And then COVID happened, and my days and I guess the world in general was just so uncertain, and tomorrow really wasn't promised for so many people. And in that moment, I was about to turn 30, and I just started questioning everything. I'm like, I've just sat back and like done all the things I'm like quote unquote supposed to do. What does this mean? Like, what even makes me happy? What is it that I want to do? And so I quit my job without a plan, and I took a few months off and I blew through my savings. And Taylor and I were both out of work. It was around September or October. And he said, I had a dream of us like running a coffee cart, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we've never worked in coffee. We bonded over coffee. And we had this moment when we were traveling together where we watched a couple that owned a flower stand, and they were just breaking down the flower stand at the end of the day, and he and I just sat there and watched them like essentially like do this dance where they weren't speaking with each other. They were just doing their respective tasks to like close down the shop. And we sat there for like half an hour just watching them close down the shop, and he was like, whatever that is, I want that with you. And that's how like buddies truly like came about. I kind of just let my guard down and being like super calculated. I'm going to do this, and you have to go to school, and I'm going to work my desk job. And I was like, how about I just do something for fun? How about I try something, and if it fails, it fails. And if it turns out to be something wonderful, then, but I'm not expecting anything out of it. And so we didn't have too much money left because like I said, I blew through my savings because I wasn't working for like 5-6 months. And I found an espresso machine online, like Craigslist. And that was one of the scariest things I ever did. I was like, it went against everything that I knew, especially having worked in like the car business. I gave this guy like 7 G's cash for a machine that I didn't even know would work. I didn't know anything about this guy. I just was like, okay, he seems legit. And then he like loaded this espresso machine in the back of my car, and I had the worst knot in my stomach. So I was like, we're building this cart. I don't know, what are we doing? We have an espresso machine. No one's answering my emails to like actually get coffee to serve. And I felt like I was at a dead end, and I was just scrolling. And I was like, how about I just learn, like, is it possible for me to roast my own coffee? Like, why is everyone making it so difficult to like get a contact? And I found this website, and it was deep on the Google page. I was like, is this even like legit?
Like I'm on the dark web.
Yeah,
at
it
this
was.
point,
It,
trying to
it
figure out
felt
how to
like
make coffee.
page 2 of Google feels like the dark web for sure. You're like, what is this? So I found these guys that started a roastery, and essentially they were like, I explained to them what I wanted to do, and they're like, oh, that's exactly what we do. So you want to come tomorrow? Do you want to see the roastery? Do you want to like learn how to use the machine? And I was like, whoa, I don't even know how coffee roasting starts. Like, what does this even mean? And they're like, it's okay. Like, you can come and we'll give you a tour. And we clicked because one of the owners is from Queens. I'm from Queens. And I was like, I like you. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And maybe this is the theme of my life right now, like just going with the flow. And that's how I started to learn how to roast my own coffee. They taught me how to use the machine, and I just watched a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of clips on Instagram. And I was like, I guess I know what I like to drink. So let me just throw these beans in this machine and see what comes out, and I'll tweak it from there. And that was 4.5 years ago, 4 years ago. And that's when I developed like the 2 roasts that we have, like the 2 blends rather. Mm-hmm. And so that's like how Buddies started. There's a lot. I mean, I can keep going on. Like how we stopped the cart, that was a whole other thing too. Mm-hmm. That was another scary moment.
How you stopped the cart?
Yeah. So the cart we did that for a year, and the cart was stationed inside of another business, and that business had to close their doors, and we were faced with either stopping this thing that we've done, or I was too afraid to take out loans. We don't know anything about investors or partners. I don't know what that world looks like. I was like, I'm just a regular girl. Like, I'm just a girl, like spending all my money like on this dream. Yeah. And so we had like a nice amount saved up, and I finally felt like I could breathe. I was like, oh, wow, like finally we have some money saved up. We're not just, everything that comes in from the cafe is not paying for just our rent and to live and food and all that stuff. And then we had to close down from one day to the next. And we were given this opportunity to keep it going, but we had to figure out how to fit our shop in 100 square feet in the front of another business around the corner. And that's where we're at right now. And I found a plumber, an electrician, contractor. Taylor's friends built like a counter for us. And in literally 2 days, I documented it. We turned like this blank slate, like concrete slab into the coffee shop that we have now. But we used all of our cash. Like
that you had made.
Yeah.
With a cart.
Because we had to buy a brand new espresso machine because we're like, oh, this is a bigger space. We can't use this baby one. And so we bought a big espresso machine, a 2 group, and we paid our electrician cash. We paid the plumber cash. I was like, I don't want to owe anyone. We did this before. Let's start at 0 again. And we started with literally like, I would say like 0 or maybe a couple $100 left in our account. And we opened doors, and we're like, I hope our regulars that we, got to know the first year are waiting for us and they want to show up again. And that was 3 years ago. So that was another like battle that there's this uphill battle that we had to overcome. And I mean, we're here now.
I mean, yeah, we see in your video that is crazy. By the way, I didn't know
It's
that's how the.
long-winded, yeah.
No,
I
no,
was
it's
like, I'm trying to
not.
figure out a short way to
No, that's your
explain all that. I was
story.
like, but it's a long story.
No, that's crazy. Pretty cool that you were able to do that. So you're just like, let's just get to it. Why am I gonna be over here complaining? Like, let's just get to it.
Yeah.
And then when we're seeing you in the video, you're also opening up about gentrification that a lot of us go through, see our families, the generational trauma that involves with it. You being Latina and putting on for us Latinos who are out here just trying to do
We're
it
just trying.
in our spot. And when you talk about gentrification, you've said that you see Williamsburg going through a lot of changes, and you've seen it too within the past few years that you've been in business over there. What are some biggest shifts that you've seen as a small business owner?
I can identify it now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I've witnessed it my whole life,
Mhm.
especially having grown up in New York. And I didn't really know what the word meant or like how heavy it felt until I was like truly living in it. So some will say that Williamsburg is like already gentrified. Like, what is she complaining about? And then I've witnessed just in the past 4 years businesses that are successful, that have been doing great, established business, established customers, essentially staples to the community of 15 plus years, needing to close overnight, not because they were not doing well, not because they couldn't staff it, not because their tables weren't filled, but simply because of rent doubling overnight. Like that, witnessing that for other people, and then hearing about it for a next door neighbor and them leaving us and needing to leave within 60 days and their lease ending and then just getting a rent increase. It's like you can't even comprehend. And just walking up and down the streets of Williamsburg, all you see are signs that say vacant, for rent, for rent. And they sit there for years empty. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. I guess they were just waiting for someone to take a bite at that $25,000, $30,000 a month rent that the everyday person in Williamsburg that, you know, maybe have grown up there and they have dreams to revitalize their neighborhood. It's like it's revitalization of someone like from the area or from the city wanting to give back and like be a part of the whole system. And I want to sell something and I want to offer a service. I want to sell a good. But how am I going to do that if the rents are $30,000 a month? Like that when that reality hit me, I was like, oh my gosh. That's why I said in my video, I was like, okay, it clicked in that moment. I was like, oh, this is gentrification. What it is, it's like, it's not that I'm not capable. It's that if I don't have millions of dollars backing me, if I can't pay to play, then I don't even have the right to dream. Like, I'm being told that I can dream. I'm being told, oh, you can accomplish anything you want. And you have the city of dreams, and you can do it. But you can't even get like, was it like skin in the game? Like, unless you have multiple investors, multiple partners. And I was like, oh, it's a cycle. And that's why the price of goods are so expensive. Because you know what? There's 5 partners in this business and everyone needs to get paid back. And it's not really about the community that they're entering. It's truly about someone needing to get paid. And all I wanted to do with my little 100 square foot coffee shop is to create a space that I felt good about. To create a space that not only like anyone new that comes to the city, but truly the people of that neighborhood feel comfortable and welcomed to sit inside. Like, that's all I wanted. Like, sure, like New York is always going to change. We'll always have like new customers and tourists and all that wonderful thing. But what about the person that's lived in the neighborhood for 45 years? And he feels or she feels comfortable to walk into Buddy's, order a coffee, and just talk with me. Or like speak to the person that's waiting online. Like, that to me is New York. Like, anyone that walks into Buddy's, it doesn't look like one age demographic, no like one like type of person in there. It's so different. And to me, that's when I'm like, oh, we're doing something important. Like, it feels good for me to know that I know the people up the block. I also know the person that just moved in across the street and they feel good about finding a coffee shop or finding a business that's, you know, native New Yorker owned, or I can give them recs that they haven't just scrolled and seen on TikTok, and I can give them like stuff. I'm like, oh, you need to take the train to Queens, you need to go down the stairs, you need to go around the corner to this spot, and that's where you can go. And it's like those moments that when I heard that our rent was probably gonna double when the lease ends, and I heard that another coffee shop was probably opening next door, all of those moments felt like they were just stepped on, and that what I was trying to create and establish in the community that I was trying to cultivate, it was already decided that that's not important, that that deal was made essentially behind our back, and the decision was made for me that I'm not going to be there, even after my like I didn't have an option to negotiate my lease or see what that looks like in 6-7 months, because you've already decided that I'm not going to be there. And that decision was made by agreeing to put a cafe in the spot literally next door. And so like that's where I was like, oh, this is gentrification. Like, this is decisions made by the people in charge that, oh, okay, that's cute. Anyway, so how can we change this neighborhood? How can we change this block to make
money?
To make money. Yeah.
So then, as a small business owner, have you learned, has anyone taught you, is there any protection for people like you and like us?
I'm sure there is, and I'm sure they're going to come out the woodwork now and be like, oh, we've always been here to teach you. But those, like, those resources, they're not, like, readily available. You have to, like, seek them
Go
out
on the dark web.
And as a small business owner, if I'm just worried every single day and I have my plate filled with so many other things, and I'm doing the day and I'm paying my rent and I'm paying my goods and I'm serving my customers, that's not the forefront of like what's on my brain. Like, it's the reality. I can sit here and say, oh, you're supposed to be more organized and understand. I can. But the reality of the thing, I'm an everyday person and I've been doing like the quote unquote right thing. I'm not thinking about that. And so I'm sure there are resources, all of which I might learn about now as this, unravels, and I'm sharing our story more. And I was like, my story's not unique. It's a story of so many small business owners. I'm sure there are protections. And if they're not, then maybe someone needs to step in and like truly protect small business owners. Or even like, I don't know if this is a crazy take, but small business owners that are native to the city as well, just having a little bit more access or stability when trying to establish a business. Because a lot of it's called like the revitalization of like cities. It's keeping it within the community and helping those communities flourish and thrive, because I really can't compete. It's not even a competition at that point if like a millionaire comes in from another state or another country and can set up shop on my block. So I don't really know of the resources. Like I said, I'm sure they'll come forward now.
No, yeah, I didn't know either. So I'm like, is there even stuff? Maybe you watching at home, maybe drop some comments if you know people or anyone that can help with. But seeing that so many people have come together from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so what's that like? Just seeing that the lines are just now you said you just hired some people, right, to help more?
Oh my gosh, it's not even like fully hire. Like, we called friends the first day, and I want to give them a shout out. My friends that own a cafe in Queens, it's like called Forest Cafe. The first day they saw that our lines were crazy, I made one call and they jumped in, and they worked with us from opening to close, wanting nothing. They were just like, oh, we're here. We're going to show up and then we're going to help you out. And we're literally 100 square feet. We had 4 people behind that counter, and I was going up and down the lines, like talking to people, and they kept that line moving. We are now obviously going to have to figure out hiring process and getting a staff and figuring out what that looks like in our small space. But seeing all the people come from all over, it was really nice to not be on. It was like ironic because in the moment, what brought all those people there was me being on my phone, but being fully disconnected and not recording or not doing anything and just being present with everyone. It's life-changing. It's truly life-changing to just experience all the pain that a lot of people share. And I was like, you know what? No one on this line is talking about differences. Everyone here is coming together because we all have that common sense of pain or letdown or frustration, and that's bringing us together. And like in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, what if instead of focusing on how different we all are, that we kind of just move through the world and move through life, just understanding that your neighbor or someone next to you might be going through the same thing that you're going through or even worse. Mm-hmm. And in that, I was like, maybe we can just be a little bit more gentle with each other and softer. And like, we're not each other's enemies. We're not each other's competition. Like, we're literally all going through the same thing. And look how powerful the block was alive. There was music, there was dancing from all over. I was like, look how powerful we all are with just our like small voices. Like, look how far our voices can reach and what it can do to bring people together if we just express the vulnerable parts and not just
Wow.
try to like step on each other or compete with each other. I'm like, oh, well, maybe we're stronger with just sharing our weakness. I was like sitting and thinking about that a lot.
That's what everyone was feeling. I mean, I saw the video, and then producer Alyssa sent me the video, and then I saw that Joe Jonas pulled up,
Oh
and
my, that
I'm a
was,
Jonas brother stay. Like
he's
Joe
really
Jonas is my,
sweet.
oh, that man. How did it feel seeing that he popped in and gave so much love? He's from around here.
Yeah, he said he was like somewhere, he was in Brooklyn or something, but I wasn't even at the shop that day. Like I said, he popped in immediately after. Like, if there's someone that's a person of their word, that was insane, because it hadn't reached 100,000 views or anything, and I think he commented when I was up at like 2 a.m. and I saw a verified check comment, and I was like, huh? Like, what is this? And I I was roasting coffee, and then Taylor texted me, and I was in the middle of packing like bags of coffee and doing all that, and he just texted me, Joe Jonas is here. And I was like, what are you even talking about? I was like, I'm roasting. I'm not even there right now. And so I told the guys that at the roastery, I was like, I hope you understand. I'm going to leave this a mess right now, but Joe Jonas is at my coffee shop. And they're like, oh, yeah, go, go, go. And luckily, it's only like a 10-minute drive. And he was just hanging out in front of buddies, drinking coffee. He had like 2 bags of beans. And he was like, he introduced himself. He stood up. He's like very kind. He had brought 2 friends and introduced me to them. And he was like, hey, like, your story truly touched me. He's like, but aside from that, your coffee is actually good. And his friends chimed in. They're like, oh yeah, the espresso is actually really good. Like, we're going to go buy some more. And they just hung out. He's like, do you want pictures? Like, he didn't make this whole thing. Like, he was genuinely there to just show up, support, see what Buddies was about. And it was like, I was just meeting a friend. It was like super casual. It was like chill.
He's the best.
Yeah, he was so sweet.
And I know that you're also a huge fan of Bad Bunny.
Oh.
And like one of your biggest, we were talking about.
Yeah, I've been bothering this poor man since 2022. Like, since the day I downloaded TikTok, like every other thing is like, maybe Bad Bunny will come get a coffee.
Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. He might see this. Well, what you gonna make for Bad Bunny if he pulls up to Buddies?
Whatever he wants. But obviously he's gonna have to try the coquito latte. Like, it's my first thing I'm gonna offer. And like anything else, you want a black coffee, you want coffee with milk, whatever you want, I'll make it.
Yes. And just seeing how you've grown from the cart to now, from leaving your other job that you had at you said car dealership.
Yeah, that was scary. That was another low point of my life. Like, my 9 to 5 pretty much, and it wasn't 9 to 5, it was like 9 to 9, but it like defined me, or I allowed that to, like, the amount of like money I made, or I was only as good as my next paycheck because it was like commission based, and I placed a lot of my value and my self-worth on a dollar amount. And that was like, leaving that, I started questioning everything. I was like, oh, I don't really have any hobbies.
But Rachel, there's so many people that live that life.
Yeah.
That live that life where it's like, I'm only chasing the bag. I really don't have passions. I really don't know who I am. And you got to a point where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And I just want to live life.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I want to do something that I like and I love. And now look how amazing it's turned out for you so far. What advice do you have for people that are in that rut right now?
Oh my God, it's really important to do something scary. Like, I've heard it before, like truly stepping out of your comfort zone or doing something you would never imagine doing is probably the first step in the right direction. Like, I really never thought that I would be here. I just knew I love human connection. I'm a talker. I like speaking with people. I never wanted the same day. So my advice is to just try something really scary, and don't listen to what even sometimes the closest people in your life might suggest or might have advice about. That if you truly feel something deep in your heart, in your gut, in your soul that you want to do, that it's really, really, really important to, number one, speak it, but to truly like pursue it and have like blinders on it. I'm sure like a lot of my friends and ex-coworkers and even family, they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't leave this job. Like, you have a good stable income. Like, you can save up, get a house, you can do all that. And if I stayed and listened to everyone's opinions, I promise I would still be in my old job. like 100%. And for the first time, I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. What's gonna happen? Like, it's New York. Like, you can go get a job. Like, I can make money anywhere.
Just when you even said like do something scary, even I was like,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like it's so hard, but it's so
hard.
true when you decided to take that leap. Like look at what's been going on just from you being honest in yourself and vulnerable.
I was like, this is not. My friends have known me my whole life. They're like, oh, this is just Rachel. Like,
oh, wow.
So that was really comforting too. I'm like, oh, this has always been like me, or being told like you're too sensitive or you're too like all these things. I'm like, oh, well, this has literally just been the theme of my life. Like, I'll cry if I see a puppy walking down the street.
No one's shook.
Or a baby.
Yeah.
Like, it's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel more confident than I ever had in my life. I mean, I'm 34 now. And when I was younger, just hearing people in their 30s say like, oh, this is like the happiest time of my life. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Like 20 seems fun. I want to be 21. But truly the most secure in myself and the happiest.
Wow.
I feel like I'm just beginning. Like, I truly feel like this is just the beginning of truly understanding like who I am and what it is that I want to accomplish and the impact that I want to have just with my friends too. But now, since the world has seen me cry, I guess I'm like might be making an impact on the world, which seems crazy. And I'm not trying to like boast myself, but I'm like, but no, truly the world has seen me cry. And like, I've met people that have expressed to me that they just want to move a little bit differently or treat someone a little bit differently, or maybe go support a shop that they would have like walked past just from seeing like how the struggles of a small business owner.
You know, it's true that you say that, because during the pandemic, it was all like support small businesses and support this owned. But then here you are trying to do that. And then here is the world being like, we're raising your rent and we're putting your competitor right next door. So either way, you're going to leave and it's not going to impact us.
Yeah.
But especially like now, I'm happy that we even get to chat for International Women's Month, and being a proud Latina like us, it's not easy for us to just be. Yeah. And so what advice do you have for young women watching you that don't want to live that everyday 9 to 5, that want to be out there and maybe own a business, people that look like you and I, that aren't the colors we always see on TVs and movies?
You're going to hear a lot more no's than yeses. A lot of people are going to try to decide your future for you. And it's really important to listen to that. I mean, as Latinas, we have like that inner voice, like we can't explain it. We just know. If we know, we know. And to listen to that voice, and when people show you who they are the first time, like, believe it. And that, just use your inner voice to be like your guiding light, because there's nothing stronger than that. And that's really what I have to say. Like, I've been told no a million times. And I don't take it, and not to take it personal. It's nothing to do with you. If someone says no to you, if someone doesn't answer you, if someone says they don't like you, truly it has nothing to do with you as a person, and everything to do with where they may be at. And it's not an attack on you. And it's just to truly pursue everything that you want, despite all the things that might be thrown in your way. And you can cry, you might scream, you might feel like you want to give up. But if you really want it, you just keep going for it. And it's okay to have your low moments. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to take a week, a month, 2, whatever you need to do. But if you want to get back on and keep going, just keep going. Like, there's no right or wrong way, like, on how it looks to pursue a dream or start a business. Just, if that's what you want to do, you're going to do it. Like, like you are. Like, there's not an if. If you truly want to, you're going to do it. Maybe in a year, maybe in 2, maybe in a month, maybe in a week. And everyone has their own path. And it might be big, might be small, but there's nothing like, truly, there's no dream too big or dream too small. Like, just taking a little win each day at a time. Like, that's you going like on track to like, yeah, break the barriers, break the molds. There's no ceilings over here. There's no walls over here. There's no doors. Just, it's your own world, like literally your own world. And if you're just yourself, then the people that are for you will find themselves like your way. And then you create your little community. And then we all just have like a bunch of like little communities of everyone doing their own little thing. Yeah.
And everyone just sipping buddies.
Yeah.
I love hearing that, because we need to hear that more, because it's it's when you said go out and do something scary. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when you're saying there is no ceilings to break, there is no walls that we need to push down. Like, that's our own things. It's so true.
Yeah.
And when you see the future of buddies, what do you see? What are your dreams? What do you know that's going to happen?
Um, I have always said I just want Buddy's coffee everywhere. I didn't really dream about having like 10 spots. And that honestly had to do with COVID. I saw what it did to like physical locations.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what if I become that giant like coffee supplier? Like there's like 5 or 6 like giant ones that run New York or just like the East Coast. I was like, what if there's a Puerto Rican owned roastery that supplies coffee to all over the country? And like, what if even if all over the world, like what if I travel somewhere and I see Buddy's coffee beans in a cafe in Puerto Rico? How crazy is that? Or what if I'm like somewhere, I don't know, anywhere. So that's my dream for Buddy's, is to figure out how to scale and grow Buddy's coffee to be like everywhere.
What's kind of weird is that with that video, like, you kind of are, just the word is doing that.
Yeah.
Because the fact that like it's reached so many people, and you say so many articles have reposted and outlets, isn't that kind of weird that if that was your dream, like just the word already is out there?
I have to say, I hear, like, obviously if we scroll on TikTok, speak things into the universe and you can manifest it. I have no idea what I spoke in like January, but all the things like my previous TikToks, they're happening, and it's like really crazy.
Yeah.
So that is a crazy feeling, but now I just need to figure out how to roast enough coffee to get to all the people that are requesting it.
Are there people that are reaching out and trying to help you with that and trying to mentor you?
Yeah, the inbox is a lot, and I probably need some help going through it. And but there are a lot of people that I think I even got reached out to by another large coffee company that said they've been running it for 15 years, and saw my story and having experience running it for 15 years. They want to, sit down and talk with me.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's been amazing too.
I mean, seeing the reach that your video and your messaging, and you being a Latina owned here from New York, such a great story. And there's probably been people along just your journey of life that you've always wanted to sit down, have a conversation with, ask a question to, as an entrepreneur or just as a human. If you could pick one person to sit down and ask something to, who would it be? What would you ask?
Anyone in the world. I don't know if this sounds corny. I wouldn't think I want to ask a question.
Would it be Rihanna?
I want to sit.
Because everyone said Rihanna. The past 3 people said Rihanna.
I mean, I feel like she and I would be just like best friends.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like, I feel like I also would kick it with like Tokisha. Like, I feel like we would be friends.
Yeah.
But on some like sentimental, if I had just the opportunity to sit down with anyone, it truly would be my younger self. Honestly, if I had some crazy, and even if it's not directly like meeting younger girls or just children in general that might have felt what I felt when I was younger, just feeling a little different, being a little emotional or a little quirky, a little silly, and you're always like, well, you didn't quite get it. I would love to sit down with my younger self and just hug her and tell her that everything that she does is amazing. Like, I just want to talk to little me that would cry and like be sad or scared
and cry with her
or just play with her. That's truly I feel like there's no one that I can think of off the top of my head that I strive to be like. I'm like, I kind of just want to talk to little me and give her a hug and like hear about her day and like what does she dream of. And because I know little me, it's so silly. My dream was to be on Saturday Night Live. That was my I was like, Mommy, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to do, like, I just want to be on Saturday Night Live. Like, I want to be a comedian. Like, that was my dream as a little girl. Like, I want to hear more from that little girl. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are watching your TikTok probably more than even watch SNL sometimes. So who knows? That's so cool though. Right now, at this very moment where you are with everything going on, how does it feel to be Rachel Nieves?
I'm so proud to be her. I'm proud because I did something so scary, not with posting the TikTok, but to take a chance on myself. And so many people told me not to leave my job. Like, starting a coffee shop in a city where every other block there's a coffee shop, I've heard opinions nonstop. And I'm so proud of myself to be where I'm at today and to not let anyone's opinions dictate like my moves or how I navigate the world, and to just truly just hone in on what it is that I feel and what it is that I want to do. Even if my vision can't be explained to someone, like how we do our branding or what we do, it's very much intentional. Like there's so much thought that goes to every single part of Buddies.
Aw.
Between me and Taylor.
Wow.
It's just been the two of us, and it's not to say like I want a whole team that can do everything for us. Like I like how we do it. I like that we decide what's on the walls. I like what we decide what's on our branding, because it's different than everything else. It's different than what I'm told a successful business is supposed to be run like. And I'm proud of myself for not allowing outside like input or outside opinions shift or change how it is that I want to like live my life, essentially.
And why do you feel lucky to be working on this journey with your man's
Oh
Taylor?
my gosh. I've learned a lot. Working so closely with a partner, it forced me to truly understand how I speak to myself first, but also speak to him.
Mm-hmm.
And we're business partners, but truly when we go home at the end of the day, he's just my partner and my best friend. And we've gotten stronger. I've heard of a lot of couples that break, and you break up and you fight. I mean, there are a lot of fights because you have opinions. Like we're two separate people that have this goal to make this work. And I've just grown closer and like more in love with him.
Aw.
As I've learned to like love myself and be softer with myself, and having a partner that has allowed me to, or just not allowed me, it's like given me the space to just be me without any like opinions. Like he just lets me rock out and lets me be me. And so that's what led to me uploading the video too. I did check in with him, and he knew we had a breakdown together. And I was like, I recorded this in the car on the way here. Are you okay if I post this? Because people might see it. And he's like, if you feel whatever you need to feel, like that's okay. I was like, I just don't want to embarrass you. Like because we understand that whatever he does is a reflection of me, and whatever I do is a reflection of him, and we're each individual person, but we still need to move as a unit. And he was just like, if you feel that, I want you to post and share whatever it is that you need to do. And so having a partner that fully just accepts me for who I am, and like the good, the ugly, the crying, the happy, that I never thought I would have that, honestly. And I want that for everyone.
Yeah, such a blessing to hear. Oh my goodness. And then what about all the people that have been supporting Buddies and leaving comments and go show up and
it's what I want to say to them. Just thank you. Like I can't thank and hug enough people enough that like I was scared. I thought initially, like the comments that were coming in, that, oh, it's just another girl crying, like asking for help. And I was like, if you watched it, I wasn't saying that we were failing. I was sharing that this is a low moment for me, and this is just something I'm going to push through it. And to know that so many people received that message, and they're just wanting to help support and like make my dream a reality, that has been this weight lifted off my shoulders of being like afraid on how I was being perceived, and to see thousands of people come in and truly understand my message and understand what it is that I was like, the sentiment in my video, that has also just given me this boost of confidence and more sure in my voice, and not so scared to speak up about what made me upset or what makes me uncomfortable. Like having the support of thousands of people, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm scared right now, but I'm going to speak up. And that's been life. It's been life-changing. Like literally my life has changed overnight.
I know, it's crazy to see.
Yeah.
And how can we, hanging out with you, how can we watching right now support you and Buddies?
Okay, so the best way, if you want to support, is to visit our website. I'm working on opening the store back up, but I do ship beans. I ship coffee beans all over the country. Maybe if I can figure out how to ship them worldwide, even there too. But supporting by showing up and coming to visit the shop at 150 Grand Street. That's the address for now. we have dreams, but maybe buddies elsewhere. But you can go at 150 Grand Street in Williamsburg, or you can visit our website. It's buddiesbk.com, and I do have some retail bags available for sale. And I just have a notice that there's like a 2 to 3 week like window for when I can ship it, because again, I'm one person
And we're booked
roasting
and
all that
busy.
coffee.
The shipment's coming in. Those receipts keep coming.
Yeah.
The shipping tags. So incredible, so amazing. Thank you so, so much, Rachel, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
We are so proud of everything you've done and accomplished, and cannot wait to keep supporting Buddies Girl.
Thank you so much.
Of
You
course.
guys are so
Thank
sweet.
you for watching inside of our Z100 interview lounge presented by Celsius. You just heard how you can support Rachel and Buddies. Are you going to go support? Drop a comment if you enjoyed the video, and we can't wait to see you next time. Bye.